Yes, sir, we promised you a great main event tonight.
This is classic.
Andre, the
WrestleMania!
Hulkamania
is running wild.
The world is listening.
Real Kick Radio.
No. You don't get it. You don't get it. You just don't get it. Piper is afraid of Hollywood. The only way I can say it is when you're the greatest wrestler in the history of the sport. You don't get it, do you? 100 years from now, in the history books, when your kids look at Abe Lincoln, when they look at George Washington, when they look at wrestling, they're gonna see Roddy Piper, not. When they look at wrestling, they're gonna see Hollywood Hulk Hogan, the man that made wrestling what it is today, the man that took over the Turner Empire, the man that founded the NWO, the man that scared the skirt right off Roddy Piper.
Holy shit!
If you smell,
Holy shit!
if you smell,
Danny Richardson, am I the only one dancing? Am I the only one grooving with the music right now? Is that just me?
I'm going to admit I was doing it a little bit secretly too, and I didn't even think about it. It's just that music gets to you.
Yeah, I was ready to sit here until I heard some high-pitched voice with an effect go, never get there. But then I just felt it so much I had to explode some sort of sound into this microphone into you.
Yeah, do you ever do the Scott Hall thing whenever you hear this music? You put your arms out to the side.
I do that anyway. So if the music's playing, even better. I kind of enter restaurants that way. The bathroom stall for always. Coming out of the bathroom stall, how do you know?
That's the best. When people are in the bathroom and you come out of the bathroom.
And it really shows them that you don't care what they think about you using a handicap stall. Like, I'm cruising out as if I should have been in there. No handicap person can do this, but I'm doing that on my way out. But Danny Richardson, my excitement could be the song. Oh, wait, this is my part. Hey, my arms are up.
You make out words to that?
Yeah, we always thought it said never, never get there. Did you never had words for it?
No, I don't feel like that's any word. It could be. I just never gave it any thought.
You like how we pretend we like NWO now because it's been so many years and that's the glory time.
NWO.
But towards the end, when La Parka had the NWO shirt on and danced on a chair, didn't you kind of think this needs to stop? There's a crime.
That was the best version of La Parka. He was the chairman of the WCW, and he just hit everybody with a chair.
Please tell me any other version of La Parka, because that's the only one that comes to mind. Is I had white and black on anyway, so hey,
La Parka without the chair.
Oh, he was the worst. Good point.
Yeah, see?
Now, I don't know if it was the song Danny Richardson or this bright purple shirt that just arrived in the mail the other day addressed to...
Oh, glad you got that.
To Ivan Cage. This shirt is beautiful. I'm kind of overweight right now, so the big logo on the front kind of brings my body in. And after wearing it for a couple days straight, I feel like this should be some sort of school uniform in New England.
I love that when you sent me the picture of it, you're intentionally pulling the shirt away from your body.
Oh, yeah.
I know the tricks. I know what you're doing.
That was the fifth take. That was the fifth picture. Because there's something about the picture that makes me fatter than the mirror. And I like to think the picture's wrong, but I still overcompensate. But at least make this the school uniform in West Newbury. I mean, the guys can wear the purple, girls wear the orange, and everyone's happy.
And it looks good on you. I think you should sport it, and I could totally picture you wearing that out in public.
We've gone too far, because this is the whole fucking show on the whole fucking show.info, fucking show on Twitter, fucking show podcast on YouTube, the whole fucking show on Facebook. I'm Kevin Scampoli. I'm also known as John Cena shirt now around the house. and if you check the internet, if you have a little thing called the internet, if you've seen The Net with Sandra Bullock, you might know me as Ivan Cage, a one-time e-wrestler that almost seemed bigger than life, Danny Richardson. I can't even stress this enough. I was the 3-time IW champion. Anthony Cutler, beat him. Stephon Waters, I put him through a Hell in the Cell once, through a car that was in the ring. I don't even know how that happened, but I've done it. He beat me that match, but I beat him before. I go too far. Who am I joined by?
I'm Danny Richardson. I'm gonna go with the real life Macaulay Culkin. I don't know if you bring that up with him.
That's not fair.
And I'm primetime, and I would list all the people that I punked out on in the EFED world, but I think this week I'm gonna bring out the guy that I punked out on the internet, Bill Goldberg.
Don't even get me started on this. Bill Goldberg, a guy who what are you saying, punk out? I would love to punk out. You did it. I'm the guy that comes on here as much as possible, whether it be the video commentaries on YouTube, which are on the whole fucking show.info, or our weekly discussions. The Goldberg probably gets the most daggers from me. And I used to split them between him and Brock Lesnar, but then you showed me the light. You showed me that Brock Lesnar wasn't a fucking phony-ass, squash-everybody wrestler, which he only was for a quarter of his career. Goldberg was everything that's wrong with any type of sports entertainment and scripted outcomes.
Absolutely. I've tried to separate that they're not the same, but and now even, and at the same time I would still want to defend Goldberg to an extent, but not anymore. I am 100% off the Goldberg bandwagon.
Well, you started it. I mean, for one, let's get into it.
I'm going to act like he did something wrong to me, but I guess to be fair, I was the dick first.
Yeah, don't pretend you weren't so excited, like, oh my God, maybe someone, because everyone's looking at Goldberg, maybe they'll look at me. There was definitely an aspect of, will people go to the whole fucking show.info because Goldberg said something to us? It was very exciting.
I may have forwarded it to a few wrestling websites hoping the story would be the biggest scandal, on internet wrestling over the year.
At least part of it was. There was like 14 sources on Google News, but nothing about us. I mean, we turned into, as if it was 1998 again, young Danny Richardson who just can't get enough wrestling, so he watches Nitro 2. And if this could have, he brought that back out in you.
Yeah, I was excited. I was all over the place, hoping though that we'd get some mentions somewhere.
And also, I must tell you that I was, like most of your Twitter things you do, you tend to get a lot of negative attention on us, or try to. I'm just enjoying my life, and I get a text of what he said, and I'm like, why does Goldberg want me to be have a brain damage and end my career of whatever I'm doing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, should we start with where it started?
Yes, I need to, and also I tagged in myself. I did a sneak tag.
Oh yeah,
and
I started the fight, and then you came over my shoulder and finished it off real quick.
I fucking buried his. It was a buried alive match.
He stopped talking to us after that.
Let's see. So yeah, what was do you have the first one out?
Well, I can explain where it started. Okay. It actually started with Bret Hart, so it's kind of a three-way dance.
Your other best friend.
Yeah, and somehow. I took Bret Hart's side on this, and it's like it came off like I'm Bret Hart's boy here.
You shouldn't. I don't even take a side on the spelling of his name. Everything Bret Hart decides is completely wrong.
Oh, yeah. So Bret Hart was on Tough Enough this past week, and he had posted on Twitter about how they cut out parts of his speech that he gave to the cast on Tough Enough, and he's like, oh, I'm okay with that. That's how TV is. He's like, but the gist of what I was saying was. Don't let your character take over who you are, and don't hurt the person you're in the ring with.
First of all, terrible advice to start off with. You got to be that character. You need to be a method actor. You need to fucking drive in like that character. You need to speed in if you're Goldberg or Ultimate Warrior. Maybe creep in, blast in your own theme music. Do something. You can't be yourself anymore once you're a professional wrestler.
See, and I took that differently because I've always had a thing. I actually wrote a column about it one time for some like wrestling news site a long time ago. But I felt like he was talking about more so out of the ring is what I pictured.
Yeah, driving in, when you drive into the arena. Like, I'm talking about getting to that parking garage. You need to fucking cut promos on fans that are watching you drive in.
No, that's the word. It's because you get guys like Goldberg who, because he was given the gimmick of having an undefeated streak, from now on, he thinks he should get to go to WWF and also run through their roster and make him look like shit. And he's not going to sign with anybody else unless they can pay him millions of dollars and let him run through their roster because he thinks that's the only way that his character makes sense.
Didn't he wrestle in Japan for a while? How did that translate? The unbeatable guy goes overseas. Did that work out? Do you know?
I have no clue. I have no knowledge of what he did over in Japan. I'm sure he did a few matches, and then when they wanted him to lose, he cried and went home.
I do know he squashed The Rock, and going back on all the years of wrestling I missed, that was the most shocking thing I watched. I mean, they pushed Goldberg fucking just as more than WCW. Like, they didn't even have a Scott Hall come out and make anybody win. So it was embarrassing. Oh my God, I'm falling apart. Danny Richardson.
They let him beat legit contenders.
Wait, Danny,
they
I'm
didn't
speaking.
start him at the bottom.
I'm trying to tell everybody that being a big Rob Van Dam fan with the whole fucking show, I've partaken, and I can't handle this.
You'll make it. We're going to get through this night.
All right, where did we leave off? What did I ruin? I can't concentrate.
Goldberg destroying The Rock.
Holy shit, he squashed The Rock. Can you believe that? And people were cheering for it. And then also Scott Steiner, who is possibly number 5 on my top 5 of all time. He was, I read this interview with him where they're like, oh, they brought everyone from WCW to WWE just to embarrass him. Vince is sick. I mean, they had Goldberg wearing a chicken suit or something. Meanwhile, he fucking squashes The Rock and everyone he goes up against, then leaves on his own terms with a win over Brock Lesnar. So let's not pretend like anyone got held down.
Yeah, they were going to treat him just fine if he'd stuck around, because as long as people were into it, and he was getting reactions from the crowd and people were tuning in, they were going to treat him just fine, but they were going to build him up their way, not giving him this massive undefeated streak. He was going to have to take losses once in a while, just as everybody else does.
And who knows, maybe he'll have another dimension to his character, something he desperately needed and never got. The I look like Stone Cold thing got old immediately with me, but everyone seemed to fucking love it. So Bill Goldberg, one for you, for you and Bret Hart, the crown jewel of why people should not let their character take over who they are. And then what did Goldberg say in response to that?
Goldberg twittered to Bret Hart and said, "I feel like you were talking about me."
Which, come on, is he looking for news? Why would he even do that? Why would he make a public tweet in response to that? And maybe he really did feel that way to the point that he had to let everyone know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe in his eyes, like, he's so guilty conscience, like, it's so obvious that stuff applied to him, even if Bret Hart may not have directly been talking about him. Because I don't know that Bret Hart was, even though that might have been a thought in Bret Hart's mind. Because Bret Hart's always preached the don't hurt the person you're in the ring with. He's always bragged that he's never hurt anybody. That he's in the ring. So this isn't like something he created after Goldberg kicked him in the back of the head. Like, it's just always been his thing. So even though it applies to Goldberg, I don't think he said it because of Goldberg. And I feel like Goldberg took it personally, and instead of trying to contact him, not in the public forum, not on the internet, he couldn't hold it in. He had to be like, "I feel like you're talking about me," and so that Bret Hart would clarify, "Oh no, not you, Bill. I love you."
Of course not. You didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, it was definitely if I'm thinking this, he probably thought everyone was thinking it. Like, oh, all anyone can think about is me all the time anyway. So now that Bret Hart, I mean, the guy I fucking ruthlessly ended the career of, is referencing not hurting people, everyone must be thinking about me now, even more so. So yeah, he had to do it public, and like, he's speaking for everyone. We feel like you were talking about me, is what he should have said.
Yeah.
Now, I want to read your tweet.
He was looking to, like, kind of squash it. Like, he felt like he kind of got called out by Bret Hart.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, I'm not going to look like a bitch, so now I'm going to call out and be like, let Bret Hart know I know he's talking about me.
The more we talk about this, the more I hate Goldberg. I mean, now I'm starting to believe what you say about him. Maybe he does believe he is Bill Goldberg. Maybe the name has become what it never was. But I want to read your tweet, but I feel like it needs to be in your voice. Because keep in mind, I had nothing to do with this. I'm living my life, playing some SmackDown versus Raw, downloading a new fucking Santino Marella and his moveset. And meanwhile, this is happening. What did you say?
I'm going to say this all went down probably close to midnight that night. And I wrote, it says, at Goldberg, if only you had listened to Bret Hart about that a long time ago.
Your voice changed. I need to cut that out. I thought you were going to yell, if you smell. That's how much you just changed. You got really passionate.
If you smell!
Now, were you what were you thinking would happen? Did you think he would even read it? Do you think he would respond to it? Was your goal for him to respond to it? What were you thinking when you sent that?
I've never had any of these wrestling guys ever respond to anything I write from my Twitter. I've had anytime I've ever had a celebrity respond to anything I've put on Twitter, that's been like the C or D list celebrities.
Yeah.
Like, I get some comedian that I've seen in person, respond to me or something. But so I definitely didn't think I'd get a reaction out of Goldberg Bret Hart. It just bothered me that, like, he just came off so guilty. It's the whole, I felt like you were talking to me. Well, yeah, you know what? Like maybe he was. Like maybe you should have listened to that a long time ago. Because even though I don't like Bret Hart, the character, maybe a little bit the person, I don't know. I mean, essentially his whole career gets cutted short because this guy doesn't fucking know what he's doing in the ring.
Yeah.
And it leads to, one thing after another. I could have got one more Shawn Michaels over Bret Hart victory. But, Bret Hart couldn't hang in there.
And can we say, too, that Bret Hart the man is way worse than the character? Don't act like you don't know which one you hate. The character itself actually stood for some... what am I talking about? What am I, 8 years old?
For this moment in time, I'm on Bret Hart's side, just for this little bit.
Okay.
I know it hurts me to say.
That's fine. All right, I just wanted to hear you say it, so I kind of brought you there. Now, with this... what did he say back to you? Which, no, I almost want to play a song. I want to play the Goldberg song because what he said was so ridiculous. Like, I don't think he thought about what he was saying because obviously he's an idiot. He's just a big fucking dummy, which most wrestlers appear to be once you try to have a conversation with him. But he is just a fucking moron who thinks this is a sick burn type of thing. Yeah. Now, let me just find Bill Goldberg music. And, all right, read yours one more time.
So what I wrote to him, I said, if only you had listened to Bret Hart a long time ago. Oh, fuck, I lost what I wrote.
And then Goldberg was like, what did you say? Read Goldberg's.
And Goldberg said, it should have been you.
Wait a minute. Goldberg, you want us... What happened to hit Bret Hart? Do we have his injuries? Was it just concussions, or was there brain damage, and did it lead to the stroke? Like, how much is he wishing on us? Everything from kick to stroke, or just the kick?
I'm going to assume he meant just the kick, and then probably the entire downgrade of our lives from thereafter.
This song is playing for him all the time. Meanwhile, I'm walking like Scott Hall across most bathrooms. He's walking everywhere with this song in his head. He's dumping free samples on his head in fucking Costco.
He's breathing smoke out of his nostrils for no reason.
His son just looks like Gilbert, just like him walking around with him. Dad, what am I shaving? He makes him shave every day. There's no hair. Shave.
I felt like he was wishing that my brother would fall out of the rafters. And I thought that was really rude of him.
Yeah, there's really... when you're talking about Bret Hart and something that happened to Bret Hart should have happened to something else, it's never anything good. It's anything from stroke to death to career ending to getting screwed over by your fucking boss. Nothing good.
Yeah. So then let's cover where you jump in.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was waiting for you to introduce me. I was kind of doing the Scott Hall pose, waiting to walk.
This is the tag in now.
This is when Kevin Scampoli does what he does best, and that's hiding behind internet text. I've become Arial the font. Like, that's my whole persona now. When people think of my name, they don't see my face. They don't see Ivan Cage, sadly. They just see this awesome plain font. And I responded to him with what I would like to call a sick burn. I said, because he said, should have been you. Wait. So he said, should have been you. And then I looked him in the eyes on Twitter. And I said, instead of you, that is, then it wouldn't have had the lowest buy rate in WCW pay-per-view history. Pretty good points by Mr. Scampoli, Mr. Cage. It's kind of happy. It makes me a little happy as a fan for no reason. That .23 was the buy rate on the one Starrcade that Goldberg headlined.
Yeah. So, I mean, the guy that thinks he's bigger than the wrestling business himself couldn't carry a buy rate on pay-per-view where he headlined with Bret Hart of all people.
Isn't it great that the Stone Cold boosted WWE from the ashes, and then this fucking Stone Cold lookalike took WCW down to the ashes? And it wasn't him, of course. I think he was pretty over, which fucking pains me to my wrestling soul. But I like to give him most of the credit. And then he said, and he kind of pwned me. He said, let me bring this up. Profound later or something. Signing off later. Profound. So then I said, and this was like the next day, because I let it sit like, holy shit, he just blew my mind. He went so dumb and muscular.
How were you possibly going to come back from that?
That was his jackhammer, profound. I just went up and down in my room. The ghost of Goldberg fucking crushed me. And
He
then
had already speared us with the "should have been you,"
then I said the
and
next
then
day.
you got the profound jackhammer.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a defensive tweet. Like, he hit us with a spear. That I'm about to end this though, because I said I put my leg on the rope to kick out, and then I said later I gotta go believe my hype and work out my child ankles. Oh wait, where's the song? I think I just earned this theme song.
I think you just took his entrance music away from him.
Now I'm worried because you told me there's a chance he might have blocked us. I mean, how do you know? How do you know if you're blocked?
Well, if you go to our feed, you can't just go to the regular feed and you scroll. You can't find any tweets from him anymore.
Oh, we're not following him. That's why. Why would we
Did you
follow him?
unfollow him?
I don't think we ever followed him. I hit a bunch of wrestling Twitters, and I think I never got to his.
No, that's how I saw it though. I don't look at Bret Hart's Twitter. I just saw what Goldberg Twitter. I saw that he Twittered to Bret Hart, so I went and dug into what Bret Hart wrote.
You know what I did?
What?
I unfollowed. Unfollowed Goldberg. That's what I do.
When he could block us, we unfollowed him. We showed him.
Yeah, we hit the preemptive taser to the chest, if you will, and I'll take the pin.
I brought out the cattle prod.
Why am I searching Goldberg chant? Now I just want to hear idiots. I want to hear a massive, for one, pre-recorded voices that are played over an arena. I don't have the patience. I got annoyed immediately.
Is that easily like one of the best entrance music that WCW ever came up with?
Oh, definitely. There's something. TNA has the problem now where what are these entrance songs? What is this? A guitar solo, but slowed down or sped up for depending on the character.
Yeah, because outside of this and the NWO music, that and the Wolfpack and all that, the best WCW music was real songs that they added a note to. Like DDP came out to.
Nirvana.
Smells Like Teen Spirit. And it's like they changed one chord in it and they're like, it's our song now. And I mean, I guess legally that's all you have to do, but to just have like no dignity in what you're doing that you're like, we're not even going to try to come up with music for our guys.
Yeah, there's something about these non-WWE. I should just ECW was okay. They'd use real songs. Who gives a fuck? But
yeah,
there's
which
something
you could
about
never get away with now.
I feel like when we say WCW, it should include TNA now because it's become such a shadow of what WCW was. But there's something about them where they don't understand entrances, whether it be the shitty generic song with no personality. I mean, listen to Benoit's WWE song. That's a perfect example of what should have been shitty, but is somehow awesome. But also, watch a TNA entrance. Everyone has a green, fucking 100 green lasers shooting at everybody.
They do love their ramp lights and their stage lights. They use those for everybody at every time.
They'd film a great spy film, I'm sure. I mean, we got to get through the lasers, get to the ring, and there's something a silly Sting mask in the ring. But it's fucking ridiculous. It's I never noticed the lasers consciously until one episode, and it just completely changed TNA for me.
Yeah, and I don't think you need to highlight a guy that's coming out to an arena of 200 people.
Yeah,
I think we all see him. I think everybody's aware that he's there.
See, that's why I'll never like Abyss, because I have a fucking freeze frame in my head of him doing his pose on a ramp with like 50 people looking at him, and like silly lasers and just the worst color correction on their cameras. It really, what is it about? I have to ask you this: what is it about WWF through all time? There's something about how they're filming it, the style. I don't know if it's their hardware or software, what it could be. Or is it smoky because there are fireworks inside? But it looks so much more, not professional, because TNA has a lot of great color and stuff. It's very colorful, like an NBC show. But it looks not, maybe realer is the word. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I've always thought that. I think, and it sounds too easy to explain, I just think there's it's obvious there's a higher production value. There's just something to it. And I mean, and it shows in the side things with, their entrance music is they put more thought and effort into it. They hire the right people to make their own music. The video packages are like a video package alone could sell you on a match of two guys that you've never heard of.
Yeah,
like they put together promo packages like nobody else in television. But even just something about, I think it's the quality of like the film like that they're using, because I remember I would watch Raw and you'd watch it and it looked colorful, and not like bright colorful, but just that the colors were distinct. It felt like it was the difference of you watched Raw, it felt like you were watching a high def TV where you're like, oh, the blacks are so much blacker and the reds are,
See, I don't even think so. It's almost a little staler. Like TNA is too colorful. Like they really make it colorful. With WWE, it almost seems like a stale version of the color, but it looks better.
See, well, what I'm still comparing though was Raw to Nitro, because Nitro in comparison, you would tune over, and Nitro felt very gray and smoky, and I don't know, like even the rope colors felt dingy. Like there was something different about Nitro that I always felt very grayed out. It didn't seem like, it just made it look like it was in a lesser ventilated arena. Yeah. Somehow the production value just seemed worse. I don't know. There was something about that, and then TNA, I don't know. I guess I haven't really noticed it too much there.
It must be. I think what it is, like you were saying, there's full departments of WWE employees where their focus is to create the music, the promo packages, stuff like that. Whereas Jeff Hardy's probably singing his own theme song over at TNA. But and I used to think back in the Attitude Era, like, wow, wrestling promos are awesome. But now as I watch it now, I think WWF promos are awesome, because WCW's like, there was like Kevin Nash versus Sid. Kevin Nash versus anybody. He was it in fucking 2000. Match happening. I'll say him and Sid, and it was so...
Is this the powerbomb match that you love?
After I've spent... Yeah. Oh, God. Stark. Oh, my God. After we're doing some like graphic design, working with fonts and stuff, you just see their shitty, like, they might as well be using Comic Sans, if anyone knows what that is, where it's just the worst font with the worst shitty effect, and it's all pixelated, and there's like no editing. Like with WWE, there's like they'll somehow add like waves to the movements and maybe change some color and slow down, etc. WCW was just the same quote. I'ma beat ya, boy. I'ma beat ya. Like no effect on it, but repeated in between clips of him kicking him.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Like I couldn't name you one WCW package, and I don't know if they had any good ones or whatever. I just couldn't remember anything. But I mean, I could think of pay-per-views that, for WWF, that felt like they were built around a production video. And I don't always want to be the guy that's just bashing on WCW, because there's going to be people that will defend it. But I mean, there's nothing you can do to defend production quality.
Holy shit!
Sorry,
if you're going to compare WCW to WWF, like there's no fair comparison. Definitely. I don't care how big of a WCW mark you are. You're not going to realistically believe that they were anywhere on the same level.
And sadly, in a lot of ways, this is what leads to some of the shitty promos and everything that happened now, because it really became building the promo package. You give promos to give sound clips that will get pulled out and played before the match and stuff like that. And that really leads to the scripted bullshit. Like all of a sudden he's really into his line because he knows, well, this is the line that's going to get taken. So Undertaker at WrestleMania, we're going to fight. And you're going to die trying. It's just fucking over the top for 1 second. But here, let me ask you this, completely unrelated. Does WWE need an entire building? Have you noticed that the fucking Titan Towers is this huge fucking hotel size? I'm talking Trump Tower maybe. Skyscraper size for where it is building. How many floors is it? What's happening on each floor? Do they need that many fucking rooms to house?
I like to think that they use floor 1 as the lobby. Floor 2, maybe for some production stuff. Maybe it's where the guys that run the website offices. And then floors like 3 through 11 are empty. And then just floor 12 is Vince McMahon's office.
It's just
like that's how I see that building going.
It's Vince McMahon's truck. Like how those overcompensate for guys. He's like, take it seriously. Look at this huge fucking building. And I want to tour it. I want to at least play a video game where maybe you can run around it. What is happening on floor 13 of the Titan Towers? Anything? Is the boogeyman just crawling around the entire floor? Do they house people?
I see. Now it's more than the building. When I've never seen it, but I know it exists. I want to find the warehouse that they use. Like somewhere they have a warehouse where they store, extra rings and then like Hell in a Cell pieces, the Elimination Chamber. But then they also have all the like stuff that would be like memorabilia but means shit to them. There's like old belts in there, costumes associated with people, just all the old junk that they don't throw away, but there's a warehouse somewhere that has all this stuff.
There's layers of Dusty Rhodes face skin in there. It's with that guy's face. Do you know what's happening?
You're talking about the forehead?
I gotta apologize. This RVD thing can't let me focus. I feel like I have so many questions to ask you, Danny, because to me right now,
this is the question show. I like it.
After partaking like I have, which is a big no-no before being running such a discussion, I feel like you're the wrestling knowledge guy. I feel like you're going to answer any question I have. And so far you've done great. Now, first of all, Twitter rundown. Let's do it.
Oh, all right. We're going to jump right into that.
Guys, like we were kind of already doing it. You know, we talked about Goldberg.
Yeah,
we
we're
talked
doing
about all
Twitter.
that. I'm going to throw one out there. The one-on-one double clothesline is slightly absurd. Do you agree?
I'm glad you brought that one up. I wasn't sure exactly. I'd like you to elaborate on it.
Well, I feel like I'm watching a match. There's some great action happening, and then all of a sudden they run into each other and both fall. Now, I never even connected in my head that this was one man trying to clothesline another man, but happening simultaneously. Like, I didn't really get that they were clotheslining each other. I just thought they were tired and ran into each other. Now that I know as an adult that I'm supposed to believe that his arm is hitting him, so his legs are going up. Meanwhile, the other guy's arm is hitting him, so his legs are going up. I just can't fall for fake physics and invented cartoony bullshit anymore.
Yeah, no, I get it. I guess I always kind of looked at it the way you did before, too, where it was like, because it always seems to happen after a ton of moves. It's in the middle of a match where they're so worn down. And it's like they just kind of collide and both just fall.
Yeah, and people say it builds tension because they're laying there. Well, how about they both just fall backwards looking at each other? Anything but a double clothesline. There's other ways to get two men laying down.
Yeah, and I think now you're looking at it the same way I look at a missed drop kick, which I think we've talked about before.
Yes, I never even thought about that until you brought it up.
Yeah, like there's no reason for the missed drop kick to hurt you as opposed to the regular drop kick. Like, why does this double clothesline? Why does it exist? How does it happen?
Yeah, and who came up with this? Which trainer thought, all right, here's a great break of momentum, the double clothesline? I know it was Killer Kowalski or something. It's always one of these guys you're supposed to respect.
Now, do you like the double cross body?
I do. I love that one because you're really jumping in midair, colliding. It's like an action film. If only somehow we can get a slow motion promo made out of that. They don't make promos after matches too often, sadly. But I would love one that had a great double cross body.
Yeah, that's when something like that's believable. Two guys could jump and collide in air. I don't, and it takes a little bit of skill to pull off. Like you're never going to see Hogan coming off his feet and doing the double cross body. Hogan's going for the double clothesline,
and he's not even doing that. Does he ever lay down anymore? Has he ever fell in a match in the last 15 years? But by the way, I love him. He's great. So what about this one, the double drop kick? You hate the missed drop kick. What about when they both go to drop kick and the legs kind of cross a little bit?
Yeah, and that would fall in the same category. Then they both fall and they're both hurt. Yet neither one really got hit with a double drop or with a drop kick rather. Why are you both laying on the ground? Get back up and go for it again.
See, I didn't even think about that. Do they really make them like try to sell an injury there? Because I always imagine they both go for the drop kick, then they get up kind of holding their ribs. So I guess it's assumed, but then they look at each other like, good one. Like I like that one. I like that moment.
You like after it's come from like a chain of moves.
Yes.
And where they do that, and that's so obligatory now. Like it's just pandering to the crowd now. Where they do I'm gonna do a snapmare into a chin lock. You're gonna do a wrist lock. You're gonna get up. I'm gonna fall on my back, pop back up into my feet. I'm gonna rotate around your back. We're gonna go into a hammer lock. And they do this, and it's supposed to be like all this skill, and then they'll both fall down at one point, and then they pop up and they do the little like pose down to each other, and then everybody claps. Like, oh my god!
I don't know. I love that.
These guys are good. No, I liked it the first 30 times I've seen it. I'm past it now. Like you're trying to get that cheap pop out of the crowd. So where everybody's like, oh, these guys got skill. Like,
I don't
could you
think
believe
that's
they just
cheap.
pulled that off?
The reason why it's not a cheap pop is for the same thing we said about Hogan. He's never done it. Like it takes a certain skill of in-ring wrestler to even pull that off. And also, I mean, throw a name out there you might have heard of, Chris Benoit. He tends to mix those up. It's not always the same four moves and then, oh man, double drop kick. It's always something new, and the chain wrestling is fucking awesome when it happens.
Oh, we faded out there for a second.
All you need to know is that chain wrestling is the best. Now, Danny Richardson, how about this? I wouldn't wish death on anyone, which is me. I tend to pick on my tweets for this. Have you noticed that?
I do. I thought when we did the Twitter rundown, it would be you would read mine and I would read yours, but this works too.
Well, I'm waiting still. I'm waiting for some of your best work. I mean, because fucking show on Twitter, I save the best for that. But I wouldn't wish death on anyone, which I stand by. But I would wish wrestler death on one person, because wrestler death has become its own thing for one thing. When wrestlers die, it might as well have its own CNN clickable subject, and you just see a list of them. Mark Henry, You leave me no other choice. I'm sick of Mark Henry. He was never the strongest man. He for one, he became expendable when Kurt Angle came, and they got a real Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Why is he still around, and has he ever done a good match or move or promo?
Good match? No. Good promo? No. I don't know. Mark Henry is that guy that is never going to make it singles. He's that tag guy that you can put with what other mid-carder doesn't have anything going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, because really, like, I can name any mid-carder with Mark Henry, and you can picture him being tagged. But I told you Mark Henry Goldust, Mark Henry Sin Cara, like Mark Henry Evan Bourne, Mark Henry William Regal. Like they're just tag teams automatically just because he's in there.
Exactly. And it's like Big V. Like, these two guys are just big and black, so they're kind of scary for one elimination chamber every 5 years, and we'll just shove them out for those types of silly things. But now, like, I'm okay with that. If Big V needs to be plugged in every 6 months for a silly match, that's good. However, when he's on Raw, that's bad. I don't want any of my TV time filled up with Mark Henry clotheslining John Cena, because it's never going to amount to anything.
Well, now we don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that being on your Raw TV time.
That's also upsetting me. Why is he
just now you're mad that he's taking your SmackDown time?
Before I watched the draft, I read a Twitter spoiler, and thankfully it was the Mark Henry one. First of all, I got mad. I didn't even want to watch it. And like, if Mark Henry's one of the people getting drafted, then why do I care? And also, that one was televised, but Sheamus's wasn't. Is Sheamus a piece of shit still? I thought he had a turnaround.
Yeah, it seems like they're not really sure on that. It's like he'll pull something off on somebody one week, and then the next week he gets his ass beat by somebody. So I still don't think they know what they're going to do with Sheamus.
See, I love the titles changing brands. I was hoping the World Heavyweight title would. I think it's obvious to anyone that it won't, although I'm holding out. So I like that the titles are changing hands, but it also comes off like don't care about this champion. I mean, I love Wade Barrett. So was it assumed that because Wade Barrett went over that would probably happen after Sheamus would go?
Yeah, I would assume so. It's just that, that like when one does it, the other. Because I remember when they did it, they pulled the world title switch with Cena and Batista a couple years back. And once they did one, you knew the other was going to have to go eventually.
The one thing I feel like I missed out on with the Triple H era was that World Heavyweight title being the number one belt. That was just kind of like, my friend's Ric Flair, and he held this a bunch of times. So this is the belt now.
Yeah, and then, because on the other brand, they still had the WWF title, which, felt like it means something. So it was weird that the WCW title became the main belt. Like, that doesn't seem like something they would let happen.
Dude, the WWE title became such bullshit for a while. And again, I love JBL, but during that time, who cared about that belt? I thought the Rey Mysterio switch was unexpected and cool, but then they blew it like really fast and took it off.
Yeah, I think he went like 2 months the first time.
Hold it together, Danny. Hold it together.
I don't think it's me.
I'm panicking over here. I'm seeing fucking. I can't even focus here. All I see is Mark Henry hair. I just see one big fucking wet Mark Henry head in my eyes. Anyways,
do you have? If I told you, name a memorable Mark Henry moment, do you have one? It's got to be something good about him.
I think it was when he got Mark Henry hair, because he went from short hair guy to all of a sudden take me seriously because I wet my curly hair, and I almost believed the hype for a second, and then I remembered who he was.
Doesn't he look like Ralph the dog from the Muppets?
I don't watch the Muppets, but we should check that out sometime.
Fuck up.
Hey,
you don't watch the Muppets?
I'm not trying to play it cool or anything. I'm not judging you. I've just never happened to catch an episode.
All right, after the show, we're doing an Xbox party. We're watching the Muppets on Netflix together.
You won't go to SummerSlam with me, but you'll watch fucking Muppets at fucking midnight.
The Muppets are way more entertaining than SummerSlam.
This tweet annoyed me because you didn't seem to get it. You and all these people responded with like, "What? Everyone does that." I said, I hope one day I'm in a high-profile WWE ladder match so I can be the first guy to walk under one during my entrance. Do you really think
I didn't get it? I thought you were thinking you thought of a new idea, like
what?
Because there's a lot of clips of people intentionally going around the ladder.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I thought you had just been seeing those like on YouTube, like Sean going around the ladder, and you thought, no, I'm going to be the cool guy that goes under the ladder, and we were like. And so everybody jumps on you, and we're like, sorry, Kevin.
What?
Like, that's been done before.
What was the first big ladder match, Danny?
The Sean Razor?
Yep. Who came out first? Whose entrance was first?
Razor.
Exactly. The first guy to ever come out in a high-profile ladder match went under the ladder. How did I miss it? How did
I
not
don't know.
know?
How did you miss it? Your Twitter made no sense.
Every fucking ladder match now, and also it went from putting one ladder to lining 8 of them up. So they went under 8 ladders with Scott Hall's walk pose. Like they're coming out of a handicap stall. Like it's such an overdone thing. I thought it would be hilarious to everybody if I said, I hope one day I'm in a high profile ladder match, which by the way isn't the funny part. It might happen. So I can be the first guy to walk under one.
See, we took it the other way where it was like,
who am I
as
talking
if you
to?
didn't know that somehow you didn't know that people had done that. Like I felt like I really pictured you watching a clip of somebody going around the ladder, and it dawned on you at that time like I'm gonna be the guy that goes under the ladder. Like that's how I read that.
Because you don't get me. No one gets me, man. No one
really
understands me. That's why I got to partake in the RVD stuff because I got to escape from this world, man.
Trying to see what else. What are the years? Oh, the 19-0 sign.
Are you really trying to change the subject for my new loner character, my new rebel wrestler I just came up with now?
We all get you. We get you just fine. I get you better than you get you.
This is a new wrestler, Kelvin Scarpelli right here. Come on, man. No one gets me. I'll come out to the ring. I'll sit in the corner and go, you guys don't get it.
Settle down, Raven.
I'm basically Raven, but with updated clothes and wave like the fat Raven. That's me. I'm the fat Raven, only in his prime.
Settle down. Was it Johnny Polo?
Michael Cole. I'll look over at the announcer and go, you just don't get me, Booker. You and your fucking urban upbringing. You just don't get me.
You don't know what it was like to grow up in suburbia Boston.
But you don't get me wrestler could have some serious potential. I don't know if it's a quick push. It might be a Ms. delay. I might have to wear some shitty jean shorts for a while, spike my hair up. But once I find a suit is when I'm going to become the champion. No one gets me, man. You don't even know where I got this suit. That's my thing.
I bet you can work it everything. And that goes. I'm gonna give you that one a step above. I climbed Mount Everest guy.
I'll be like, that's my other character. Oh, a cage match, huh? You just don't get me. You're trying to lock me up for the way I believe, man.
All your characters have about a 2-month lifespan.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. The Kelvin Scarpelli is a pretty good character. What was the other guy? The guy who climbed Everest? Yeah. I'll beat anyone in a ladder match. I climbed Everest. That's my guy. How many great wrestling gimmicks can I come up with before someone buys one from me?
I'm waiting to hear the first one.
Can you sell gimmicks like their scripts?
No, but they'll steal them from you.
Oh, I better keep quiet. We better hush up. We got Goldberg's ears on us now. Next thing you know, Goldberg's going to be the most misunderstood person on Twitter. No one gets me.
Nobody gets me. Nobody gets me. I climbed Mount Everest, okay?
John Cena, this shirt's awesome. No one gets me when I wear this shirt, though. I feel like when I walked, like, I never walked down streets. I walked down a street wearing the shirt, and I really felt like everyone was like, cool shirt. Like the big purple John Cena.
Did you really, really think that?
Yeah. If I saw this shirt on somebody, I would be like, as long as they weren't like 8 years old, I'd go, that guy fucking knows.
No, people were like, that guy looks like Barney's turd.
Yeah, I was walking and people kept beeping and yelling swears, so I kept, you just don't get me, man.
Look at that guy looks like Fruity Pebbles.
Ever been in a situation? Oh, this is a Miz tweet that I retweeted. Ever been in a situation where you had no idea? Look at me trying to pander like you. I'm like, Goldberg likes us. Now how about this guy?
Oh, you retweeted Miz, huh?
I had to, because this is an experience I've tried to share with people and no one's ever, and I don't even know if he means what I mean when I say it, but let me read it. Ever been in a situation where you had, I bring this up on We Hit and Run, WeHitAndRun.info in the years ago. So anyways, ever been, I think he took this from me is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, ever been in a situation where you had no idea how to turn off the radio at 6 a.m.? Meaning, I used to have a stereo wake me up, a stereo we'd use daily back before MP3 players existed. I was a child. It was the Attitude Era. Every day in the Attitude Era, I had to go to school, and this would wake me up. And there were some mornings where apparently I didn't get enough sleep because I'd fucking wake up, stand there staring at it like, how does this thing even, why is it on? How do I turn it off? Then my brother had to wake up and turn it off for me and go, are you fucking kidding?
So now you said you're not sure if he meant the same thing. What do you think he means by it?
I don't know. I'm wondering if it's like this inside ribbing joke where someone glued the knobs or something. Who knows? But with me, yeah, now that I think about it, he must have gone through that too. We're so cool.
Yeah. I think everybody's experienced that at some point, but I don't think I've stood in front of it trying to figure out how to turn off the radio. But it's more that, in the middle of the night or morning, whatever, I'm just kind of smashing it with my hand and hoping that it'll turn off, like having no idea where the button's at or anything.
And if it happened today, I sleep bottomless, so I'd just be Pooh Bear. That's my new wrestling gimmick. Pooh Bear standing there. I'd carry a boombox to the ring, and I'd be like, "Ref, can you turn this off?" Man, I got a match to do.
The announcer's saying, Pooh Bear, put some pants on. You can say, you just don't get me.
You just don't get me, man.
You don't understand why I don't wear pants.
And then I'll go, which character are you? I thought you were a Pooh Bear. Why are you the other guy now? Whatever, man. I'm the modern day icon, man. What?
I climbed Mount Everest. I don't have to wear pants if I don't want to.
I'm the Giant Johnson. I'm 7 feet tall. Just all these guys in one. I think I had one more, but it's really nothing really worth talking about now. Alberto Del Rio can hang with John Cena and Randy Orton in the ring and on the mic. Christian can't. Draft him to TNA. And I did this at the time that it looked like Cena was going to SmackDown. I guess there's a little bit to talk about here. Do you agree or disagree with anything I said?
I don't want Christian to go to TNA. I like Christian. I still don't know if he's ready for the world title push. And I don't know that he'll ever be. I don't know that he's got enough to get him over.
It's really a reach. It's such a SmackDown thing to have him as champion.
It would bring down the title. Like, it's weird that Del Rio, in my eyes at least, is already to the point where I would believe him as a world champion.
Yeah.
And if Christian won it, I'd be like, I don't know. It's only a matter of time before somebody gets it from him, and then Christian's not going to get a world title shot again for years.
It's really so simple. It's the good guy thing. There's not a good guy that you can like. That when Edge did it, until he retired, I liked him. But I hated this good guy Edge. This good guy Christian is terrible because it's this, I don't have a personality. I need to be very one-dimensional and I respect you, John Cena. I'm on Raw for a day. Let's shake hands. It's like there's no independence to being a good guy. Then as soon as they turn heel, they're interesting. Like R-Truth is another.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. It's kind of the same thing as the R-Truth character. Like we both, and along with pretty much everybody else, hated R-Truth. The character was horrible. His mic skills are horrible. And then he pulls a heel turn, and it's like, oh, like now I'm interested. Like I want to see what he does, and can he maintain my level of interest?
Yeah,
So I think, but I don't know if Christian makes the heel turn. I feel like I've seen it before.
Yeah, and I feel like you need to bring Tonko back for me to even take him seriously. And I hate that guy, Tyson Tonko.
It's got to be the worst name. And he's one of those guys that should not have made the transition from bodyguard to wrestler. He should have just stayed bodyguard.
And it's annoying because I came up with that character first. He was one of my many gimmicks I have. And I tried to sell it to him. Next thing you know, he shows up on TV, has the same tattoos I drew. It's pretty fucking blatant, but I can't prove anything.
You called him Big Dick Johnson, though, so it was different.
Well, it was funnier. That's what I'm trying to bring some comedy here. And Dick was spelled hilarious. There was just an 8 and a bunch of equal signs, and then it was so funny. A D, they didn't go for it. I said, look at all the logos you can draw. And they said, stop calling. And I need to stop this story because I partook today, my friend. I don't know. It's been hours, and I still feel no feeling of coming down.
This has never felt more like the whole fucking show than today.
You think so? You think this would be a weekly thing where I'm just I have 7 new gimmicks and nothing to add?
As soon as I switch jobs, I think we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to be on the same level next time.
That would be exciting. Anyways, no, read some tweets.
I would normally say it could either be the best show or it'd be the worst show, but I'm gonna go ahead and vote worst right now and just own up to that.
I don't like when people use the word show during podcasts. I don't like when they acknowledge that a show is happening. It sounds very unprofessional to me. You ever feel that way?
What would you call it?
I would just don't reference it. Just everyone's talking. We're all having fun. You don't go.
We're just two buddies hanging out.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be like, well, man, this show's crazy. Or on the show last week. You just go last week or this is crazy. To me, it feels like you're supposed to be impressed by that a show's happening when I'm not,
But you get that our show has the name show in it.
Yeah, but it's hilarious. It's this thing. You think of all the logos you can draw when you have show in the name. So Danny Richardson, read me some tweets.
I wanted to bring up you apparently didn't like that I was moving on from my Goldberg feud and calling out the PWR show.
So desperate. I didn't like it because, for one, wrestling podcasts are awful. And I said the bad word. I said podcast during a show. And I said show. They're awful. I've tried them to, I don't give them really that much of a shot because I don't want to ever like one and become it. So it's just like when I listen to it, it's droning monotone nonsense at a slow pace with nothing interesting.
I've never heard these guys. These are someone you added for us to follow, and you seem to be more familiar with them. So I didn't really care if they got mad at us or anything. I was thrown out there because at that time they were putting out a lot of tweets from like responding to people, and the people that write to them have to be like the dumbest fucking wrestling fans anywhere. Like they would just write the dumbest shit to them, and then these guys would retweet it like it was some great thing. You know, like you could write to them and just be like, "Oh, thank God John Cena's back on Raw." Like something that nobody cares about. It's, you know, such a little mark moment, and they would retweet it like it was something worthy that other people needed to read. Like, hey, this guy is glad that John Cena's back on Raw. Like, so then they just had like a string of these at one time.
See, I'm surprised that they didn't retweet you. They retweet so much. And yours was the worst. And before I read it, I need to say that you've been trying to introduce new segments to me, which is frustrating because they're so hacky and shitty, and I've been doing this for years and whatever.
It's for years.
And this isn't...
I've been doing the wrestling show for years.
Yes. To the point where you don't call it a show, my friend. You've done it wrong already. But Peter, what you said was an extension of one of your ideas, which frustrates me. You said, at so-and-so fears us, fact. Because you're trying to do this fact or fiction bullshit that every sports
That had
thing
nothing
does.
to do with it.
So I said...
Those are two separate things. Don't bring in my segments.
You embarrassed me in public. I said the blah, blah, blah tweet was Danny. I happen to think we'd get along quite well. Like Mini Vader and Vader, obviously us. So there's a little jab in there. Like we're Vader, obviously.
Yeah. And the first time you tweeted it without the Vader. So I'm glad you went back and added that in. Like you went back and it was like you apologized and then you took a little stab at him. I love that.
Don't ever go behind the tweet. Don't you ever fucking say how many drafts I make. There's a lot of bullshit tweets I send that need to get revised, rewritten, resent, then deleted. The original's deleted.
I do that too. It took me 3 times to write this one. I put, oh, look, Randy Orton found my beard from when I was 18.
That's shitty. I almost deleted that. What is that tweet? Did you see that shitty beard he had on Raw? I liked it. That's why. I'm kind of offended. I like that beard.
Yeah, I'm imagining your beard is half that when you try.
I like shaved heads and beards in wrestling. Anytime somebody grows something or cuts it off, unless you're Dolph Ziggler, I'm all for it. It's a great move.
There was patches of it missing. It didn't connect. It was weird. I didn't like it at all. He really looked like a guy that can't grow a beard, so he shouldn't even try.
He's a creep. It's a good for his character. But
I like that you don't like my tweet because you like beards.
But also, I mean, come on. Let's have a harder punchline in there like mine, you know?
That was the punchline. They're one-liners. Get with it.
Danny Richardson, I got to ask you.
What's up?
Have you seen Sting Moment of Truth? I'm sitting home, again, living my life. You're causing fucking riots on Twitter. You're tweeting signs if Cena wins, riot, and then you're rioting just fucking years after. And I'm living my life on Netflix, watching movies and videos, and I stumbled upon Sting Moment of Truth. Have you seen this?
I've seen it listed on there. It's on my queue, but I haven't got around to watching it yet.
Now, what have you watched so far? Holy shit, I'm fucking... It's like it. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, remember to exhale.
I'm just talking smoke through.
You don't have to hold it in the whole time.
So, what have you watched so far on Netflix of wrestling? What have you seen?
I watched the Bret Hart Heart and Soul, which was okay. I watched the top 50 superstars. What else is out there?
Now, those are basically spoken, like they're reality based, talking to you. You know, treating
documentaries,
right. Did you think that's what Moment of Truth was?
I still think it is. Is it? I don't know what else it could be because I mean, I know they couldn't do like a real Sting DVD because they can't get the WCW footage. So I figured it was just a straight up talking about like Sting's life and career, and I assume some TNA footage in there.
All right, let me hit play. I'm honestly going by visual. This is on YouTube, part 1 of 10, 6 minutes in. Let me just hit play.
Thanks.
Now, so far, just all does this come off like, hey, the next superstar is, or man, at this point in my career, was I tired? Does this sound like anything like you've seen so far?
I couldn't even imagine. I have no visual image of what's happening just off the sound clip. I assume neither does anybody else that's listening.
What paper did you say you were from? The Banner.
That was Sting asking a question.
Thank you for taking the interview. It won't take long. Just a couple of questions. Oh, I was in the tunnel when you were coming into the ring, and I saw that you got something out of your coat pocket, and you looked at it. It's almost like you were praying. What was that you you got out of your?
Now, before I hit,
Shut up. Is this a church DVD?
no, but no, yes, underlyingly it is.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
But even beyond that, the format, this is not reality based. This is completely scripted, bad acting, kids doing a fucking internet video show.
His youth group directed this.
This was, I don't know where they got the money. And I swear, it looks like it was filmed on a cell phone, but I don't know where they got the money to do this or the time or the writers. But, well, WWE's trying to win Oscars with drama. This shit's happening. He's
Lint.
But I didn't know it was he had lint in his pocket. Oh, my God. Clean your uniform, faggot. It's called Sting a faggot. How awesome is that? Get on Twitter and send that to him. Tell him it's from me. We're starting a new Twitter war. I said faggot. Right, and spell it Faget. He'll respond then. But yeah, this is a movie in which Sting plays Sting, and it's awful. It's worse than any backstage interview could ever be. It's worse than his Sprite commercial, which I'm seeing is also on here.
Wait, a Sting Sprite commercial?
I don't want to keep clicking because I feel like this will become Sting's shitty life hour when I'm trying to like him now. I like the new jacket. I like the new paint. I actually like smoking now. I never got why he said it as the Crow character, why he's yelling Showtime. Did I say smoking? Do I even know?
Yeah, you became the Mask all of a sudden.
Yeah, do I think Sting is Jim Carrey in The Mask? I feel like that would be a great wrestling gimmick, though. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Not even in The Mask, like the character, the cartoon one, but in that wooden, scary mask that he finds. That would be a great character.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm going to come out and go smoking. And I'm going to spin around really fast, holding the mask up to my face.
Occasionally, you just bust out with Ace Ventura quotes for no reason.
I feel like this is not going to go over with any fan.
No. None of your characters do.
Well, this is the first one that might bomb, but it's for sale, okay?
This one's already better than Pooh Bear.
It's better than Sting, I can tell you that right now.
I didn't have a plan. It was just a whole lot of one thing leads to another.
What is it? I watched, I didn't know this was a religious thing because I watched 20 minutes and even while high, it wasn't funny anymore. It just got terrible. And I looked it up online, and there's so many reviews that are like, good movie, cool flick. And then people like, this is religious nonsense. It ruined my vision of Sting, which it would, because I didn't know he went through a rebirthing like our hero, Shawn Michaels. I didn't know he got a weird eye like Shawn Michaels. I didn't know he started wearing chaps instead of the regular pants to the ring. And that's just going to ruin Sting for me now.
And you don't have any fondness for the old school Sting, the blonde hair Sting.
No, I get into wrestlers very late. Like I just started like an Edge. I played him as him in SmackDown versus Raw. I'm remembering 2006 when he was the best in the entertainment.
Are you gonna be one of those people telling me that Edge needs to go into the Hall of Fame next year?
I kind of think so. You know?
Ugh.
You don't think so?
No. If Shawn Michaels gets it the 1 year after he retires, Edge does not. We can't start giving it to every guy a year after they retire.
He kind of can, because he was pretty important, wasn't he?
But is he Shawn Michaels important? Not even close. Shawn Michaels, you know how many eras that guy went through?
Is it possible to be Shawn Michaels important in this era? Like,
no, not right now. I mean, you had Triple H, Undertaker.
Let me tell you something.
Those guys could get, instant retirement, then Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, I agree.
Edge needs to wait at least 2 years, but I would give him 3. I mean, he's young.
What kind of politics are you spewing? You should not be voting. It's such a silly thing to compare him directly to Shawn Michaels because, for one, he was that weird, faceless, no emotion or no personality character for the first few years that was terrible. I mean, the tall, lanky guy with the "You Think You Know Me" song. I went to wrestling, and the only thing I could chant when Edge was out was "You Think You Know Me," and I did 4 times, and people laughed. It was the worst character. And sure, he became likable very late when he finally turned heel, like most guys. They become very likable once they're bad. The Rated R Superstar stuff, I think given that he started in the Attitude Era, went through the Triple H era, and then made his own era, kind of makes him on a Shawn Michaels level for the time he came up.
No.
What? I mean, think about it.
You honestly, you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me Edge and Shawn Michaels are on the same level.
Not for me. But I think...
Then for who? Who would really believe that? I'm not saying Edge isn't important. Edge wasn't great. But Edge is not. I mean, Edge was
Yeah.
always a secondary champion, even in his own time. Edge was never the guy, even when he was active. Like, name a time where Edge was the number one guy in the company.
Stop it right now. No, you're right. I actually was thinking about what I was saying. Like, of course, Shawn Michaels is, for me, above even Undertaker. Anyone. Not only is he above, there's a fucking double space and then everyone else. So
That's what I'm saying. I feel
I
like
agree.
3-year buffer just to separate what an honor it is for,
No.
because when Undertaker, whenever they officially announce he's retired, he's going into the Hall of Fame as soon as they're ready.
Here's the problem.
Triple H is going to the Hall of Fame as soon as he's ready. Shawn Michaels got to go a year later. So I mean, Edge should not be put on the same level as all those guys.
I don't think he's on the level of them, but I think he's on the Hall of Fame level, meaning he's the minimum to get first year. Because, listen, Drew Carey's in the fucking Hall of Fame. It's not that big of a deal.
That's different. I don't.
No, it's
You're
not.
one of those people. No, why do you hate the Drew Carey thing? Because that's different.
It's so different. It's the same.
But the Drew Carey thing has nothing to do with the wrestlers in the Hall of Fame. They acknowledge it's what they call their celebrity wing.
You're retarded.
Like, it's for celebrities, and they do that so they get press.
No.
So the Hall of Fame ceremony gets press, then WrestleMania gets press. It's the only reason they put celebrities in there. It has nothing to do
We'll put
with
Edge
them being on the same level.
We'll put Edge in the celebrity wing first year out, and we'll let him
Fine,
wait a while.
First year. What is he? I don't think he's as good a celebrity as Drew Carey.
Stop it! You're upsetting me. You're starting to make my high go away, and now then I get mad. So we're not. I'm not mad yet. But
You're that guy.
if I hit play on Moment of Truth for one more second, I'm honestly going to turn into Ivan Cage, or I'm going to turn into the Everest guy, or Kelvin Scarpelli, and someone's not going to get me.
And you're going to take your pants off and go climb a mountain.
By the way, that was a legit promo I just did. Somebody's not going to get me. That's how I'm going to.
Are you shooting on me right now?
Prime time. Let me tell you something, man. You put me in a cage, dude, because you don't get me. Well, tonight, someone's not going to get me.
Did you just use dude in your promo?
You like how I hit the mic and threw it down?
Oh, dude.
Now, you ready for this? Prime time, man. Let me tell you something, man. You're trying to put me in a cage because you don't understand me, dude.
Is that your version of Hulk Hogan's brother? Because you say it the same way. You don't get me, dude.
Why is it so funny? I think it's
When me and
hilarious.
Big Dick Johnson were hanging and banging, dude.
It's so funny that my new character is just Hulk Hogan. When he's nothing like Hogan. Let me tell you something, dude. You're trying to put me in a cage. You don't get me, man. You don't get
I'm going to walk under that ladder, and then I'm going to climb a mountain, dude.
Oh, this is fucking retarded. This is so stupid. But this makes it legitimate. Make me a Twitter right now. Make me a, what's his name? Kelvin Scarpelli Twitter. Goldberg, man. You're kind of a faggot, man. Sting, you're a faggot. Just tweeting.
Who was that guy that started following us? And I don't know if you saw, all he would do all day long was just Twitter at wrestlers. And he was just trying to get retweet. And we think he Twittered us just because he thinks we're Rob Van Dam.
He's the all-time greatest tweeter I've ever met. For one, his birthday was the other day, and he's 12 now. And that was very exciting for me to read because I'm glad he's almost a teenager.
Oh, is that really his age? Because I'd buy that too. The way he tweets.
Swear to God, I want to find it. I feel like the Twitter recap has never truly been a recap because we've never brought up this guy, and I won't even. Oh, 2001 Yo-Yo. He's 10. I thought he was 12.
Oh, that's so. I'm trying to look him up on mine.
And
what's his name on there?
2001 2001. Then the word Yo-Yo. Now here's the thing. Not only does he tweet wrestlers, he tweets wrestling fans. At I am Mizanin Fever. No, you. So this is the best guy.
Oh, I don't know. Like, we got a couple interesting ones on there.
This just in for the Twitter rundown from 2001 Yo-Yo. Rey Mysterio might be a good thing for Raw. Well, thank you. I'll watch and find out and let you know what I think.
That is some serious breakdown.
What do you think of that? Oh, how about this? Morrison sucks. R-Truth for life.
Wow, he's going heel.
Finley, John Cena is in SmackDown. Who's Finley? He didn't at Finley. He just wrote Finley. Is he talking to Finley?
It's just in case Finley went on and Googled his name.
By the way, why is John Morrison's Twitter account still the heel Morrison? Oh, it's someone else. Okay, I gotta stop. Get me off of there. Now, Danny Richardson, I have a question for you.
All right.
Have you ever seen Sting Moment of Truth? No, I'm just kidding. Watch that fast. But I mentioned a game you've been trying to introduce to the whole fucking show. And I figure if it's going to happen, it's going to happen when I'm high as fuck. Because this could be a fun game. Now, tell me what you wanted to name this game before I start trashing it.
Well, I think the last thing that we agreed on would be shoot or kayfabe.
That was your thing. And here's the thing. You watch TV, you put it on ESPN2, you'll see fact or fiction all day. It's a silly, fake conversation that is typically scripted and timed to 30-second intervals for answers. And it sucks. Why do you want to do that?
They call it buy or sell also.
Why wouldn't you just want to have a conversation with me? Don't you see this comes off as kind of hacky that now we're putting names on discussions and we have to repeat the name and play a game?
Because if we don't have, I know how you work. If we don't have a specific segment that forces us to talk about current stuff, we will talk about 1995 WWF for 2 hours.
It's WWE now. But yeah, you're right. We probably
But not
would.
1995.
So here's what I want to call it, because I want to save any type of silliness. I think this will give it a wrestling flavor. I want to call it Undertaker or Undertaker, referring to SummerSlam 94, I think.
Yes.
Or maybe 94?
No, I think you got it right. Yeah.
So when you say something, it's supposed to be fact or fiction, shoot or kayfabe, real or fake, but instead it's Undertaker or Undertaker, meaning real one or fake one. And then the answer tells you which Undertaker it is.
So if you agree with it, you're referring to
Undertaker.
the real Undertaker.
Yeah, I yell it too, like it's a game show. I really get into it, and we're going to sell it.
All right.
All right, throw one at me. Let's see how this game works. This is the test run because I'm feeling generous tonight. I'm feeling a little. I'm starting to come down actually, and I almost want to call it off. But I already said yes. Throw one at me.
All right. I'll give you a softball one. Referring
Undertaker.
to this last week's
Sorry.
draft.
Okay.
Moving Randy Orton to SmackDown was the right move.
This is the gayest thing ever. I hate what you're doing.
See, you're gonna kill it. You'll never give it a shot. We'll never talk about anything that's happening. We'll just keep talking about blue cage versus chain link fence cage.
Good, because did you hear how you just talked to me? You were reading. You just read something to me. What are you writing poetry? I don't need to hear your fucking Raven promos. Okay, I'm here for a discussion, not for a question Q&A. Okay.
How would you like me to read it to you?
I want to do this. Hey, did you hear about Randy Orton? What do you think?
but then that's not a statement. See, you don't get how this works, which is why
Undertaker.
I sent you examples. And
Undertaker.
You refuse to read them.
Undertaker. I think it's. What was the question? Is it good for SmackDown?
Was it a good move? Was it the right thing to do?
I
to move
think
Randy
it was
Orton to
great.
SmackDown?
I thought it was better though when John Cena and Randy Orton went together back to back because it was taking the two biggest guys on Raw and giving them to the fledgling SmackDown. And it's proof that it's fledgling, one, because there's ratings, but two, because they actually, when there's a storyline that they want people to care about, they all of a sudden talk about SmackDown on Raw. Hey, care about this for a second. I know most people only care about the Red Show. So I like the idea of putting, like back when Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, John Cena were all on SmackDown. That's not going to happen anymore. For one, they don't have the talent to split them, but it really seems so one-sided where no one's buying Kane as a big guy. I want to. He's number 5 on my top 5 ever, but no one's buying Kane as a champion of a show. So I like the idea of CM Punk going over, Randy Orton. I wanted Cena. I wanted SmackDown to just become the Raw roster. And then Raw, with Alberto Del Rio and The Miz, could have some young greats.
I like the idea. I like what you're doing there. You're trying to like divide up, like they have their own.
You just don't get me, man. Sorry.
As a show. I remember when they first did the draft, and it was Vince and Flair, and they were drafting. I remember thinking at the time that it'd be good if you separated the entertainers from the wrestlers, because they had like a big mix of those. Like,
what'd you just say to me?
They had Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Jericho. I thought it'd be good if those guys ended on one show, and then like your Triple H, Undertaker, Rock, whatever, like ended on another show. And so you had two different completely feeling shows.
You want to change the morph the identity of each show to be this is the entertaining one, this is the wrestling one. I hate it.
Of course you do, because you hate everything I ever bring up.
Who would ever do that? I mean, what?
You hate my show ideas. You hate my tweets.
Fact or fiction, man? You don't get me. Fact. Let me tell you why, man.
You're trying to put me in a fake characters.
You're trying to put me in a steel cage, man, because you don't get me, and that's a fact. And then I come out, my music hits, and I come out. What would be my music?
A smooth operator.
All right, here's how it's gonna go. Fact or fiction, man? Undertaker or Undertaker? You don't get me. Undertaker. Because you try to put me in a cage. Well, here I come. Where's the song playing? I found the worst version. Yeah, this is my version when I come out. Oh, that's just the intro? My version is...
Shut up. Tell me you didn't know that's the full Hogan theme.
No idea, but from now on, the full Kelvin Scarpelli theme is that slow part looped.
Oh, man, we should do a Hogan intro. We need, but not NWO Hogan. I mean like Hulk Hogan.
My finisher is the knee drop. You and your Hogan love. I'm trying to give you an alternative, dude. I mean, all right. No, anyways, what were we saying? Something about, oh, right. You want the identity switch
so
between the show.
you like him. Now, would you rather, if you had your choice and you could only pick one, would you rather move Orton to SmackDown or would you move Cena to SmackDown?
Cena, because he is, in my mind, he's a SmackDown guy. For one, you can buy him as the top of anything, but also he came up on SmackDown. He kind of fits there, and he wears blue shorts, and it's a blue show. But
he's got his red shirt now.
And also, Orton seems more like a Raw guy. I don't know if it's because Orton, and I'm not acting like he's anything really that edgy, except for the fact that he threatens death on people, and people cheer it, but he has kind of a more edgy rawness, if you will, to his character that I think he fits on Raw a little better. And I think I wanted things to change a lot. I don't know why. I really like how things are, but I kind of wanted to see, like, what the fuck's going to happen now? I want to get that feeling.
Yeah, like if Cena was on SmackDown, everything feels completely different for some reason.
Yeah.
But Randy Orton being on SmackDown, it's all, you can tell he's just filling that edge void and probably elevates it, but it doesn't feel that big a difference. I like the move. And it seems obvious like that's, if they had to move somebody over there, like that's what they're going to go with. Like Cena's their guy, Raw's their show. Like they're going to keep them together.
All right.
But
I'm having trouble here. Are we Undertakering this or Undertakering this? I'm not really able to read it.
I think we're both going Undertaker on this.
Okay, agreed.
It was the right move. So that's Undertaker.
I had a good point. I like shirts. That was my point. I have a Cena shirt on. It's awesome. By the way, my wrestler Kelvin Scarpelli comes out in a Cena shirt. So I don't know if that's new. It's kind of like a Mickey James loves whoever type of thing.
You're going to start catching him in the shower.
Throw me another Undertaker. Let's see.
Another Undertaker or Undertaker?
And please don't fucking say it like you're a broadcaster trying to read.
But it has to be a statement, so I don't know how you want me to tell you this without it coming off a statement. You want me to like throw it into natural conversation, and it doesn't work like that. That's not how the game is played.
Don't you get that's how podcasts work? You get a seem. It's like stand-up comedy. It's all fucking fake, but it's gonna seem real, man. You don't get it, dude.
It's gonna sound so unnatural. I'm like, oh, by the way, this Sin Cara guy, he's something, isn't he?
All right, go. Undertaker.
Undertaker. Sin Cara will hold a title before SummerSlam.
I almost want to do don't care, because Sin Cara is a character who transcends belts for me. There's nothing. He might actually bring some respect to a title, actually. Like, although I like Wade Barrett as IC champion and I like Sheamus as US champion, there's an obvious standstill that's happening in the whole division. So I think Sin Cara could bring fucking talent needed to either division. Because, actually, side question. Undertaker, for one, to yours. Do you feel like IC title or US title, anyone is worth more than the other one? Undertaker.
I used to think the Intercontinental title, because that's what I grew up with. That's what I like. That seemed to have so much prestige to it. But nowadays, it seems like the U.S. title, because I don't even know half the time when the Intercontinental belt changes hands. I watched the SmackDown that Wade Barrett won it on, and I didn't even know what happened. I fast forwarded. I didn't think anything important was going to happen, and it was a Wade Barrett match. So it was like, what do I care?
Don't say that about Wade Barrett. He's one of the best characters right now. You don't think so?
No. Well,
he's so good on the mic. Think about it. Who is that good on the mic that's even a veteran now?
Well, he wasn't talking on the mic when he won the Intercontinental belt, so there was no reason.
I'm talking about interest in the character. By the way, Wade Barrett's awesome. No, there was a great spot.
The core thing bothers me. It's boring.
There was a spot that I don't know how they pulled off to end it, where Kofi Kingston goes for his spinning kick bullshit, his fucking hand slap bullshit. But as he's going for the kick, like Wade Barrett rolls into it and like catches him on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Like, can you picture it? It's a very good
No,
spot.
I did go back and watch it.
Oh, okay.
But because I read that they changed the title, but at the time I really had missed the whole thing. Like I'd fast forward. I already finished the whole show and had no idea that
I
happened.
can't fast forward a Wade Barrett match. I don't know how you can.
I don't like the core thing. It just
hate
seems
it
so
too.
drawn out and obvious. I don't. If he would separate from himself, himself from, because it's so obvious. Like he's like a poor man's Nexus now.
I feel like you're going to act like he shouldn't go in the Celebrity Hall of Fame tomorrow. So maybe we should stop this now. But I've always thought that the U.S. title was worth more. Just because WCW slanted it. They changed the weighting of each title with the television title. So it became TV titles, kind of bullshit, Intercontinental shit. U.S. title, whoa, that'd be awesome. And then the world title. Like it was an in-between that gave it more credibility for me.
See, it's weird that you see, because for me, TV title was the European title, which is just this like, you're not even good enough to be an Intercontinental champion, so this is what we'll give you so that people pay attention. It was a belt just for the sake of making nothing matches feel like they were special.
And Shawn Michaels, the world champion, had it. Like, what was that about?
Yeah.
How was this belt worth anything? But yeah, that belt just became nothing to me. It looking back, obviously now it wouldn't be worth anything. But looking back and watching the matches, it's like, oh, why is that even there? It looked cool. It was red.
It was a good looking belt, and they started it off right, like it was Owen Hart and Bulldog. It had like a good feel to it. But then, I mean, eventually you get, X-Pac and I don't know, whoever else, Jeff Jarrett fighting over it. And you're like, why are they fighting over the European Championship? Like it just should have been called anything else, and that belt would have had, much more longevity to it.
Give me another Undertaker.
Another Undertaker? Well, I don't know. Oh, I was going to comment. I didn't get you on the Sin Cara thing.
Oh, yeah, you get a turn. Go ahead.
I agreed with half of what you said.
Don't read it to me. Just say it.
I agree with the part where you said he transcends titles. I think that he doesn't need a belt.
How great would it be if I could talk, but only, like, I could hit a button where you only hear it, so I'm, like, coaching you? Just fucking say it, okay?
Like if we had some real production quality.
If I'm just talking straight to you, don't fucking annoy me or bore anyone. Just fucking say it. Cut to the point.
We got to hit the break in 10.
Project a little bit. Just fucking really bring it like Vince McMahon. Like Vince in the...
Say something about Hogan so I can play his music again.
Don't call it a title. It's a championship. Just fucking, you piece of shit. Didn't he yell some pretty hateful things?
Who, Hogan?
No,
Or Sin Cara?
Vince McMahon through the commentator's headset. That's what it would turn into.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. Like he's just, and it's the whole time during the show. It's just him yelling at you.
Have you ever seen Beyond the Mat?
Yeah, we went over this. I was at the premiere for it.
I forgot that. I forgot that chapter in our lives. I imagine that
Jake Roberts' fat daughter.
I imagine his talking into the commentary sets every week is him going, "He's gotta puke. He's gotta puke." Just that.
That's how I picture like any meeting with Vince going. Like if you approached him in the back and said, I had this idea. What if we did? I feel like it turns into that version of Vince McMahon right away, just over the top.
What are your thoughts on Sin Cara?
He's gonna puke.
I don't think he needs a belt to be interesting, so I think the longer they hold him off from it, the better. But I actually think right now, if they gave him one of the belts, I think it's way too soon. If they do it now, I think it would hurt the belt in a weird way if he held it.
Yeah, it would look desperate. Like, all right, we brought in this cool guy. Now he's this champion. Like it all.
It's like it would feel like they're trying to force him down your throat, and people will reject that. You'll lose interest. Like there's no need for him to have to hold a belt, so why not wait a while? And then when interest in him starts to wane, or even as it's peaking, then give him a belt. Capitalize on it at the right time. But I have a feeling because they've had him mix it up with the mid-card champions already. I have a feeling that they're going to push to get him a belt soon.
The way they're handling this is great. It's very patient. And it almost seems too patient for them. Like the way they're kind of making them face jobbers again, but not calling it jobbers. Never did, actually, so why would they? But the way they're kind of giving them these squash matches to introduce everyone to them, it's very unlike them. Usually they rush people into shit now.
Yeah, and that's... I don't know. I think we covered a bunch of people, though, but it's something about it when you're told you have to like this person.
Yeah.
And you're told right off the bat, this guy's really great. Like you automatically either you'll accept it, but then you're going to reject it eventually, or you just reject it right off the back. It very rarely ever works out where they tell you this guy's really great and he's going to be a world champion really fast, and that guy has a long career.
One of the downsides of my career was when they put me in a steel cage match too early. I mean, they didn't understand how to use me. They didn't understand me. They didn't really get me. You. And they just kind of threw me out there with Hogan's music, and no one is going to cheer. They started yelling, "Die, Rocky, die" at me. And I'm like,
Hogan's music and a Cena t-shirt.
I was like, wrong guy. I'm wearing a Cena shirt. And then they hated
no
me.
Pants.
Then they booed when I punched and cheered when I got punched. I just didn't know how to satisfy these people.
Dude.
Give me another Undertaker, dude.
Undertaker. R-Truth is going to be able to capitalize on his push.
No way. The fake Undertaker. He's going to get very boring very quick. I like the shut up thing instead of the what's up he did. But if he comes out singing shut up, I swear to God, I'm going to love it even more. So
did you stop and listen to the promo like this week? I mean, like when he came out, instead of fast forwarding like you normally would.
I watched it.
Like you actually stop and you're like, all right, I'm gonna listen to what he has to say.
I even said he's awesome at one point, which is something I just said. I guess I felt it at the time, but I really didn't. Like I know it's.
Does that make you sick that you just said R-Truth was awesome? Like it's just such a weird alternate reality we're in right now with him.
It's cool that he's a heel, but he's not a good one. His face still sucks. His mic time still sucks. His matches are worse than Jeff Hardy's, to put it in your words. He's, to me, the black Jeff Hardy, and I love Jeff Hardy, but when he turns black, I hate him, so it might just be a race thing.
Yeah, I'm going to go fake Undertaker on this one, too. I think it's going to be a good push for him.
Yeah.
And I think it'll keep him interesting for a while, but I get the impression that they think this is going to somehow help him to main event level.
Yeah.
And there's no way he's ever going to be. They're going to have to do something completely drastic. I just don't picture him on a main event level. He's going to have to get way better on the mic. He's going to have to come up with something original or entertaining in the ring. I don't know. And the look is going to have to change too. You're going to have to get rid of the silly dreads, the pants, the baggy jeans in the ring. Like I get it. You're a black guy. You're wearing jeans. Like
you're a racist, man. I didn't need to hear that part. I nodded, but I didn't need to hear it. Well, don't you isn't it obvious he's going to interfere in this main event?
Yeah, I'm not convinced that he doesn't somehow end up back in it. I mean, it wasn't until then, so I'm surprised that they didn't make that push. Like I thought on Raw, we were going to get R-Truth thrown back into the main event for the pay-per-view this weekend.
Do you think on the pay-per-view it's going to open with them putting him in that match?
No, I meant like I see now that they're not. I was surprised that they didn't. Like going into this week, I was sure that somehow he was going to end up back in the main event. Like, he beat up John Morrison, so I thought it was going to be like Morrison can't make it, so somehow R-Truth gets to earn his spot into there. But Morrison came out just fine, and they fought. So, obviously he's going to have to interfere. Maybe he cost. I could see Morrison getting ready to climb out of the cage, and you're getting all excited because you're thinking Morrison's going to be your new champion, and then R-Truth interferes, stops him, and then Miz keeps the belt.
John Morrison.
Are we doing Extreme Rules predictions now?
I love John Morrison. I'm going to talk like this from now on. So John Morrison is
that
great.
Your new character?
Yeah, that's my other new. The guy that cuts promos way too close to the mic.
There's a guy going, "Come on, dude! You put me in a cage with him." Then he goes,
"Well, let me tell you something." He's just over-modulating.
Somehow you have like AWA quality microphones,
and I have 4 AWA quality characters that are definitely getting a debut in our federation, dude. Because let me tell you something, man. You have the belt, so we need it, and I'm going to buy a ring with you. Anyways,
I have no idea if this show is going well.
It's so great. It's the best. Now, R-Truth is somebody who I feel like you could turn anybody heel like that and it'll be interesting. Meanwhile, I want him gone. I want him. And also, when he goes to TNA, I'll love him. I'm going to think, whoa, that's R-Truth. He's pretty. Why wasn't he champion?
Did you ever get to watch him in TNA when he was there?
Don't tell me that. He was in TNA? No, I didn't watch him.
He was their world champion.
That's fucked up.
He was the TNA world champion. He was Ron the Truth Kid.
I'm glad you cut out there because you were talking blasphemous bullshit to me. And I'm glad Skype did it for me because I was ready to hit a button and go, get to the fucking point. I've had enough of him. I want him to go back to TNA where now I'll hate him even more. Who would make this guy a champion? Affirmative action. I don't want to bring up the race card.
Easy there.
I'm telling you something. It's affirmative action. That's my other character. I've had enough of the affirmative action around here.
You just created a racist character.
I feel like these are all just one character, and they're one awesome guy.
That would be great. You could be the Barry Darso of just today's modern shitty characters. Where every week you just come out with a new gimmick, and it's worse than the previous week.
Well, I definitely have the best Twitter and YouTube, not YouTube, Wikipedia pages, because I'll be causing so much shit in the back that the Wikipedia will fill up quick. My tweets will just be my promos copy pasted, and it'll be racist nonsense.
You can just retweet everything that every fan tweets to you, like Goldust does.
Are we done with this Undertaker, or do you want to do it again sometime? Or is it still happening?
I got tons of other segment ideas. We could try a whole new game next week. I think we're going to keep trying games until we see something that sticks.
All right, every week.
And this one's coming back too, by the way.
This is all coming from a guy with a man cave. So there's going to be a lot of hacky bullshit happening that I can't control. But every week, Danny Richardson, you'll have your chance.
If you smell.
When that'll be the cue to give us your game.
I'm bringing you a new game next week. I'll have something completely new for you.
What's Macho Man's legacy for you before we go?
Oh, I like this. And as far as what terms, like give me a scope of things. Where are you looking at here?
I'll give it my point of view, and then you kind of expand it and make it real. Because it's easy for someone my age to grow up, group Macho Man in as a lesser talented Hulk Hogan, someone who just was a cliche on the mic, has become a joke with his rap career and his mic skills, and people do impressions of him, but no one watches his matches. And it's easy to assume he wasn't good in the ring. Maybe he was just a silly entertainer character that got the deal because of that. Meanwhile, my opinion of him is that he was one of the best ever in the ring, which I think might be off base as well, because I've watched, four Macho Man matches. So it just becomes one of those things where I like the way he looks in the ring, so I assume he's really talented. Find a mean median between those two extremes and let me know where I should settle.
Macho Man is blessed as well as cursed with the fact that he was not Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Like, Macho is always going to be looked down, and I think a lot of people look at him as like, there's no way you think of Randy Savage and you don't think of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
But you can easily think of Hulk Hogan and not think of Randy Savage.
But also, it's like The Rock and Austin. You can think of either one. Like, when you think of The Rock, do you think of Austin? Why is it that Macho Man couldn't obtain that level? Because he really was The Rock to Hulk Hogan's Austin.
Yeah, and well, it seemed like that may be one of Hogan's better feuds, and they drew it out for long enough. But they built it really well for a little over a year. Like, they started building their friendship just so that they can intentionally tear it down, and then it led to their WrestleMania 5 match. But after, and a lot of people feel like that was Hogan's arch enemy, but I think it was just because they were similar and they were friends. But because after that WrestleMania 5 match, and then they had like a SummerSlam match, but it didn't really. It's not like they had a lot of matches after that. Like, it was about a year's worth of feuding, but
Hogan. Ultimate. What am I saying? Undertaker versus Undertaker.
I'm gonna go Undertaker on this one.
All right, Macho Man is more impersonated in everyday YouTube videos in life than Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I think Macho's got a more distinct voice, so more people think they can do the Macho. I've at the wrestling company I used to do, there was a lot of people that thought they did wrestler impressions, and almost none of them were good, and everybody thought they did a Randy Savage. I remember when we went to the Fully Loaded pay-per-view.
Yeah.
In Fresno, and I remember standing in line outside the building, and there's probably 6 or 8 of us standing in line, and everybody starts talking like Randy Savage. I mean, not everybody, because I didn't do it, but at some point, and I was embarrassed for him. There's like 5 guys doing dueling Randy Savage impressions.
Undertaker versus Undertaker.
That is shitty Undertaker.
Macho Man is a cool nickname because it seems like the worst thing if you think about it, but it fits because you just know it as the nickname. You don't think of what you're saying, you just think Macho Man. But think about how gay that name is. How does that work?
Well, and his original version of his character was kind of a
Macho Man.
Yeah, he'd come out and he was very bully to Elizabeth.
He'd have his
He
man
would
cave.
boss her around. He told her, where to go, when to go. If he lost, he blamed her. If he won, it was all about him. And she carried that persona of a battered woman. And if you go back and watch those, it's a real weird vibe that they put out where you believe that when they went home, he just beat the shit out of her. And that's what they wanted you to believe. They wanted you to believe that he's Macho Man. He's a savage. and she is scared to death of him.
You're so good. You are too fucking good. No, so, all right, how about this? Do you think if he didn't bang Stephanie McMahon and he was able to be in highlight videos, be in promos, have DVDs put out earlier, that his legacy would be what it could be? Because it really could be the number 2 guy ever if Vince decided that.
I think not only could it be? I think it eventually will be because he's easing his way back in. Did you see
Yep.
He did the videos for the All-Stars game.
Oh.
They used him to promote that.
And he has action figures, and that DVD came out, so it's coming back, definitely.
God, I want one of those action figures so bad, too.
I made it up. There's not any action figures.
No, there is.
I know there is.
It's like $35.
So, the elite ones? Yeah, there's a Shawn Michaels one, too. But I remember when I got a Rock action figure and his eyebrow was up, and I thought that was the coolest until I tried to play with him. And I'm like, stop with your eyebrow. You're wrestling now.
Why are you always making that face?
You're an action figure of yourself. No one says that. No, that's not a phrase. So, yeah, and also, do you believe he's banging Stephanie? I like to imagine it.
I thought of that question when you said it. I've seen, I'm sure you have too. Like, there's so many shoot videos on YouTube and people will be interviewed, whether it's Kevin Nash. I've seen stuff with Hogan, different people, and they say, and that's like a common question that you want to ask any wrestler who's been in the back, and you say, what do you think of the rumors that Randy Savage slept with him? And they all have the same reaction. They're like, really? Is that a thing? Is that what people are saying? Like, they've never heard it before. They all act like this is news. Really? Did that happen? I don't know. I've never heard that. Oh, that's crazy if he did that. That tells me he did it. He did it, and everybody knows he did it.
I'm getting to the I'm going to tweet him. I'm going to figure this out. I'm starting another Twitter war right now.
Is he on Twitter?
Let's figure it out. I'm assuming it's going to be real, the heel Savage. No.
at Macho.
At Macho. At Randy Savage. If anything, it's a great imposter who can give us the real answer.
Somebody has that Twitter name, so we're going to get a hold of somebody.
Yeah, there's somebody there, but he only has 10. How does he only have 40 followers with that name? You're not doing it right.
So what I think, now you brought out like that maybe him not being in their promo packages, not in their spotlights, their list, that somehow that might hurt his legacy. I think it could also end up helping because when they start bringing him around, people have been clamoring for him and they're going to want him. And it's going to be one of those things where suddenly now we're all going to be like, we were the biggest Randy Savage fans all our lives. And we miss him, and he's so great. Like, we're just going to all of a sudden blow up on our love for Randy Savage.
Yeah.
And, people are going to... The night that they bring him out on Raw is going to be huge. It's going to have a special feeling that I would say at this point, if you told me, Randy Savage was going to be on Raw, and at the same time, I could watch Hulk Hogan on Raw. Like, which one would be big? I would rather see Randy Savage on Raw. The Hogan thing, I've seen him do his comeback already. Randy Savage is the guy I haven't gotten to see.
And is there any better song for that moment? He has the homecoming song where I'm coming back and I'm forgiven. And Gerald Briscoe never used this as a joke. And it still has its, first of all, it shouldn't have any emotion. It's such a, why is that a song? But it's perfect for this one thing of him coming back.
It's funny, they just gave him a throwaway song that they didn't have to pay the rights for.
A graduating song.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Never mind. I'm not going to make that
circumstance. And I remember Ventura used to try to sell you on the reason he had that song was because of the name Pomp and Circumstance and how well that fit Randy Savage. That's why he chose it. Not at all because they didn't have to pay for copyrights to it.
No one knows what that song's called, and he didn't pick his song. But also, he has the excuse. Like, when people look back, where has Savage been? They're like, oh, well, some stuff happened, so he was robbed. He should be the best ever. Blah, blah. So he has something that his fan base can run with and make excuses of, which in the wrestling world is nothing better than an excuse or some people call it reasons. But an excuse amongst wrestling fans in the world of fake wrestling is like gold. It's like currency.
All right, so we're going to go Undertaker real quick.
Yes.
Ready? Randy Savage will be inducted into the Hall of Fame next year.
Does it have to be next year? Can't it just be ever? Because it's going to happen.
No, because ever's guaranteed. I'm saying next year. He's already planted the seeds. He's did some wrestling promos. He's obviously on somewhat good terms with them. They're back into, they're comfortable making money off of him. There has to be something up. There has to be a reason. They've made, they've mended their fences. They're there now. They're ready to do business.
He won't, but Ultimate Warrior will. That's the answer.
There's no, I honestly at this point I don't know if Ultimate Warrior will ever make it in.
It's weird because what did he even do? I mean, I know he banged Stephanie, but did he do anything?
There was a lot of rumors this year that Goldberg was going to go in because they were in Atlanta.
Stop it.
And the argument to me was if Goldberg makes it, because people were like, oh well, he was big for a time. Yeah, he was big for like a year and a half, legitimately. So does Ultimate Warrior get in? Like where does the qualification drop off? Like because you had a spike in popularity that you couldn't maintain, like where does it drop off that you'd get to be in the Hall of Fame?
Goldberg never gave a spike. It's a manufactured spike. They were always on the downturn with him. At no point did they, except for that one Nitro main event, which should have been Starrcade. At no point did they win with him or start to win.
But I mean maybe he didn't help the company, but popularity wise, like he was building. I mean, like we may hate him, but he built up and up and up for that streak. That world title win was the end, in my opinion, of like the interest and that spike in Goldberg.
No, they even played fake chairs over the fake chants over the speakers.
Fake chairs would have been better.
He was the epitome of manufactured fucking bullshit intent. He doesn't even look intense, really. Look at his ankles. He has child ankles.
But people were into him.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
I'm convinced no one liked him.
There is nobody listening to this that can honestly deny that people weren't into Goldberg at that time.
When I listen to it, I will deny it because Goldberg I think Gilbert was more popular.
How have you done this in the same show? You're back to making me defend Bill Goldberg.
How am I making two Gilbert references on the same one?
That's true. I punked that guy out on the internet.
I need to start researching Goldberg to get this Gilbert reference out of my fucking vocabulary. But no, of course he was probably their I want to say they're like most guy with the most heat, but he wasn't even that.
But when you put him on the same level as like an Ultimate Warrior, though, I mean, where it's like it was just a short term popularity, so it's like I don't see how it justifies Hall of Fame.
It might even go on the Warrior level, wouldn't it?
That's what I'm saying. I think it does, and I love the Ultimate Warrior, but they gave the guy the belt, and he couldn't. It just didn't work. Like he couldn't maintain the push that they tried to give him. They gave him a clean victory over Hulk Hogan, and he couldn't do anything with it.
And very few guys get that, and they're always shitty. But yeah, so you were Undertakering it like me, but I thought you were Undertakering it, so we were agreeing the whole time.
Wait, what am I undertaking? I thought we were still talking about Randy Savage going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we were both Undertakering all this.
I Undertaker it. I think it's going to happen.
Give me a final on his legacy. What should I think of Macho Man right now?
One of the top 10.
Ever as far as wrestler? How about in-ring ability?
Maybe not. I can't even stick with that because now there's been so many wrestlers since then, because like you started factoring in your Chris Austin Jericho. Rocks and stuff like he could easily get pushed out of the 10. He's top 15.
Okay. Now how about in-ring ability? Where does he rank there? Keep in mind the time.
I would say underrated.
Definitely, but would he be in the top 15?
If you went to ability for people in his time and that style, he'd be one of the best.
Undertaker. I agree. No, yeah, it's hard to say.
It may not hold up now, but even then, he's got some better in-ring ability than some of the main eventers now. But obviously, there are guys that are, you could say or Brian Daniel. What was that guy? Daniel Bryan?
You're doing my thing. Is that my bit you took? Daniel Bryan.
That guy, yeah. You could say he has better in-ring ability than Randy Savage, but I mean, he's nowhere near the total package.
That's what makes it so hard. There's a lot of shitty characters who can wrestle. Now, here's the big one. I know how you feel about Bret Hart, but I know you still have a realistic view of him. Where does Savage compare to Bret Hart in all-time wrestling rankings?
Oh, you're killing me with that. I think Bret Hart goes over Savage.
Oh, man.
But I think Savage should have been. Savage got misused. Savage should have been. His legacy got hurt because of the whole going. And I think one of the worst things he did was, but it may have been good for him too, was when he went to WCW, because then he was in Hogan's shadow. Automatically, it was, we're going to have you feud with Hulk Hogan. Now you're best friends with Hulk Hogan. You're going to be in this group with Hulk Hogan. But you're never going to be Hulk Hogan. Like, Hulk Hogan made sure that Savage was never Hulk Hogan.
You don't think the aura of Savage, the impressions, the character puts him above Bret Hart's? Because Bret Hart was just... Actually, I kind of think he was pretty good on the mic, but he was purely an in-ring champion. You're not putting Savage over that? In importance?
That's so tough. I don't know if I can. I mean, Bret Hart was made at one point like the guy to carry the company, and Savage never was, because even when Savage held the belt, Hogan was the main event.
Sting, what do you think?
I was really waiting for Sting, a good Sting clip.
One leads to another.
He said one thing leads to another. So, hey, I think that's a pretty good sum up of Bret Hart. How does Randy Savage compare to Sting? Now, where does Sting compare to Bret Hart? Sting is a very mysterious guy to rank because he's never been in the WWE, and it seems like you need that balance.
What a wormhole you've gotten us into.
Yeah, where does everyone rank? Now we got to make a top 100. And
I think we have. I think we need to make it. The Savage never got put on their top 50, did he?
I don't know. I don't remember. He has to have.
I don't remember seeing him on that top 50 superstar DVD. I don't think he was on there, and that's a big shame.
Like, I feel like if Booker T did the Sting thing and never went to WWE, he would have so much less respect with me. There's something about the fact that he was World Heavyweight Champion where it counted that makes him more legitimate. And Sting hasn't had that, and I kind of hate Sting's character. But what is it? Where is Sting ranked? Is he even in the top 15?
I think Sting is big fish, little pond syndrome.
Yeah.
Where, okay, the beginning of Sting's career, when Sting was big, we're talking blonde-haired Sting. WCW was not even on the radar for the WWF at the time. Like, they weren't concerned about him, they didn't care about him, and Sting was king of, I hate to say it, essentially the nobodies.
If you smell.
That didn't apply there.
Sorry, I thought it did.
And then, I mean, what happens? You bring in Hogan and all those guys, and I'm talking even before the NWO, when you had Hogan on them, Sting went into like no one land. Like, he became like he was on like a tag team with Luger, and like they didn't really know what to do with him. But he wasn't Hogan, he wasn't Flair, so they didn't need him. And then when he becomes the Black Crow Sting, how much credit are you going to give him as a wrestler? Because he spent a year and a half dropping in and out of the rafters.
It was just a whole lot of one thing leads to another.
I know, Sting, but it's no excuse. You didn't wrestle for a year and a half, and we want to pretend like you were one of the biggest characters around.
Thing leads to another.
Couldn't do it. But yeah, it's so difficult because he doesn't have a big move set. His finishers are other people's finishers that were bigger than him.
His catchphrase is "It's showtime."
And did you know he was supposed to be a bodybuilder? Like, he was a body guy when he first came in with the Warrior.
Yeah,
and,
the Blade Runners.
Like, and I guess that explains why he beats his chest. I never understood why Sting would beat his chest. He's a fucking scrawny little piece of shit. Now, if you talked to me a few years back, I'd say Sting has nothing. But there's something about that new coat he has where I'm kind of feeling like he's in the top 20 now.
But he's still, even right now, like, Sting had the chance to go to WWF. And I don't understand what wrestler, especially towards the end of your career, doesn't want to go there. I mean, and if you want to argue principle or whatever, because his thing used to be that he didn't want to go there because, like, it was a whole thing that it clashed with his Christian values. And because they were so raunchy back then. But you can't, I mean, how are you going to say that when you're in TNA, the way it is now compared to PG WWF? It's like, your excuse is out the window now. I think he's scared that he wouldn't make it. I think he's scared that, like, his push is just as manufactured as some of the other guys we talked about. But as long as he stays in TNA, he's big fish, little pond. There's no way he's not in the world title picture as long as he's in TNA. He's been there for over 5 years, and he's in the world title picture the whole time.
I am sick of fucking people acting like the Attitude Era was the fucking raciest shit ever. Like, they act like it was, oh my God, what's happening? I can't believe what and it really, the only person I'll listen to was Owen, because I love Owen. He didn't like that stuff, apparently. Now I want to get into how I watched the Owen, Life and Death of Owen Hart. Have you seen this?
No.
He plays himself, and he reenacts the fall. No, that's Sting Moment of Truth. He reenacts the fall. But no, it's so, if you take what they're saying for truth, which you kind of have to, because everything his wife says and Bret Hart's shitty, ugly wife says, Owen Hart kind of repeats in promos they recorded. Like how unhappy he is with wrestling. Not unhappy, but how he never wanted to be a wrestler, and his dream was to buy his dream home with his wife and son or daughter, and he just wanted to be a regular guy, nothing to do with wrestling. And even like in the final years, I guess, not years, but months with Blue Blazer, apparently that was a punishment for not wanting to do something raunchy. Have you ever heard that story?
I didn't. I'm surprised because I felt like that was one of the more over points in his career. He was doing the tag team thing
Yeah.
with Jeff Jarrett, and they were awesome. They were getting over as like a legit team, and the Blue Blazer thing, like the crowd was eating it up.
Apparently, he didn't like the Deborah stuff. Apparently, that was too raunchy for him. He didn't believe like his kids could watch it, so he got away from that. Wouldn't do something raunchy with Deborah. And this is according to the DVD. I don't know if this is true.
Yeah.
It became Blue Blazer and was like punishment, but that was a great angle. Like that was hilarious.
That could have really helped, keep his career going at that time.
Which apparently he didn't even want. Like they were, and it's unbelievable. They were 1 week away from moving into the dream home they wanted forever when he died.
Oh, really?
Well, you know what? Fine, because he was going to retire then. He wouldn't. I'm over here thinking there was lost talent. He was going to be world champion. Apparently, he wasn't going to be because he was on 1 foot out the door. How about 1 foot in the grave? That's my new character. I'm tweeting this. The completely out of line Twitter character. His promos are 140 characters in one guy. He just keeps changing personality. Sorry, I keep going. Did I interrupt you?
No, I had nothing.
How about Owen with Sting face paint? Now, where does he stand in history? Danny Richardson, you're known. I got to know this first. Where does Sting compare with Bret Hart in the history of wrestling?
Sting is under Bret Hart. I put Sting under Randy Savage too.
How about Hulk Hogan? No, so Sting. Where does he? I almost said Undertaker. Like I keep moving higher when you're saying he's below everybody.
Yeah.
What about Lex Luger?
Sting is above Lex Luger.
I think Lex Luger's the fucking. I think he's the piece of crumbed up dried shit on my.
I thought you were about ready to start telling me how great Lex Luger was. I was not sure where we were going with that.
Lex Luger is the fucking little dried up pieces of shit in the ass I don't wipe. That's what Lex Luger is.
You know what I'm doing tomorrow for this weekend? I'm gonna go give my SmackDown versus Raw character the torture rack.
Don't do that because then I gotta watch it.
I'm gonna give him the torture rack.
That was a pretty good move, though. His Sprite commercial was great. But Danny Richardson, you do this thing every week where, we discuss stuff, we do the Undertaker stuff, and then, dude, you come out and you fucking close it, dude. You know why? You don't get me. I was trying to get to it. I couldn't find a logical sequence of words that would have that make sense.
But you don't get me. You just throw it in anywhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make sense.
You just don't get me, dude. I like how it's Hogan. I love that my guy's just Hogan, and I sound just like him.
You're like a 16-year-old version of Hulk Hogan
with a John Cena shirt on, and he runs to the ring. Yes,
Goldberg's entrance music.
Like every creator wrestler, he will run to the ring with a giant headset on and tattoos.
A bunch of tribal tattoos. The tribal tattoos are very important in every created wrestler.
I told you I created Tyson Tonko before the guy happened. They fucking took my character, didn't buy it, mind you, but took it and put him on TV. But Danny Richardson, you do this thing every week where when we're done talking, when we're done having a blast, having fun, you take us out. Now, I give you the time, the moment, because it's the whole fucking show. On the wholefockingshow.info, Danny Richardson. I am Kevin Scampoli, Ivan Cage, Kelvin Scarpelli, Sting. I'm also known as the Everest guy. And it's fucking show on Twitter, whole fucking show. What was it? What's it on YouTube?
It's a whole fucking show podcast.
Fucking show podcast.
Fucking show.
I better start this over. I'm glad you were coming from a laugh there. I like that you're laughing over there. Hey, laugh into the mic, will you? I need to hear it. So,
sorry, I forgot you need an audience.
I need it. Fucking show on Twitter. I don't want to feel like it's TNA show. And also, I forgot a point. It's their sound. This is how high I am. I'm about to act like we didn't just have 20 minutes of discussion since this. But the reason why TNA doesn't look as good as WWE is because...
Oh my God, that's an hour ago.
That was so long ago.
20 minutes.
Is because the soundstage bullshit. Nothing looks good in a fucking Florida soundstage.
Did you watch the Impact episode where they were at an actual?
It was awesome. Didn't it look great?
Somehow you're like, wow, I could get into this. Like, it seems so much better.
The wrestling was still terrible, but yeah, it looked so much better. It made sense all of a sudden.
They got to get out of their comfort zone. They need to get away from that, or they need to find a bigger soundstage, because it's honestly if you told me that was the exact same soundstage that they used to film WCW Saturday Night Main Event, I would buy it. It looks like the exact same stage and setup.
The ring might as well have been rotating. And
yeah.
I'm sick of their free tickets to fat people motto, because the chubby kids don't make your product look good.
Don't they have the ugliest? Like, nobody's gonna sit here and try to deny that wrestling fans aren't an ugly bunch of people, but the TNA wrestling fans have to be like the bottom of the barrel.
And when Rob Van Dam's song hits, I don't need an 8-year-old fat piece of shit yelling, female by the way, Rob Van Dam, whole fucking show. Just no, sit down, hide behind somebody else, hide behind 3 people, and this is so hateful.
And there's always, in the front row, there's always 1 or 5 fat girls that are like that wore tank tops to Universal Studios, and they got like floppy titties coming over the guardrail. And it's like, you know, that I don't even believe that half these people watch wrestling.
They don't.
Like,
I love how we're making fun of imaginary faces, and it still hurts me. Like, I feel like we're going out too far here.
You're like, wait a minute, I kind of like him. I'd go to that show.
Danny Richardson, take us out.
All right, well, this was the whole fucking show, and make sure you follow us on Twitter, because I guarantee you that it's not going to end there. The heel turn continues. This is the show that called out Goldberg. We made him flinch, and now we're asking, who's next?
Is that it? That was good. Get to the fucking point. I kept yelling that. Did you hear it? I think I got it to work. I kept yelling, get to the point.
I did not hear it.
Fuck, I hit the wrong button.